Dereta, dereta, dereta. Stoppa, stoppa, stoppa. Okay, okay. Hop, 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 hop. Non muova. Ah, l'asparagus.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel. So in the video today, I want to talk about failing an exam in PA school and whether you're able to retake it or not. It was a question that was asked by one of my subscribers, and so I decided to address this question in this video because I know I definitely had that question when I started PA school. So first off, I have to say that it really depends on your program. And the reason why I say this is that one of my classmates or one of the PA students that I met that was not in my PA program, when I was talking to her, I really like to know how usually like PA programs are different, like how they grade, how their testing is, and you'll see that there's differences. So that's why it's really important that when you're applying to PA schools and PA programs to make sure that you are familiarized with how they test, how long their clinical rotations are, etc. because they really do differ. And so that's why I say it depends on your program. For my program, exams are allowed to be retaken if you fail them, so that's why it's really important that you make sure that you study and you do well on them, because it's really hard. For example, for some of my classes, like for example for didactic year, you would have, for a class, you would have, for example, 4 exams for one class plus your final, so you have 5, right? If you got like a 50 in one class and you have in one of the exams, you have to make sure that you do really well in the other 4 to make sure that you get that B. Because for example, for the school I attend or the program and graduate colleges or graduate universities, etc., you have to make sure that you maintain a 3.0 and higher. If not, then usually you'll go into financial aid, suspension, or probation. And basically probation is that you have the next semester to make sure that you bring that GPA up to a 3.0. If not, then financial aid will take that financial aid or money that they're giving to you. And sometimes, you know, you won't qualify for certain grants that the university offers or the schools or financial aid offers. So that's why you want to make sure that you're doing well in your classes and you're not getting a GPA lower than 3.0. So that's why it's really important that you study for your classes. So like I said, it really depends on the program. For my program, you can't. If you do really bad on one exam, it's really important that you make sure that you do really well on the following exams. Now, I did find that there were certain modules or blocks, how you can say, were a lot easier than other modules. Like for example, for me, cardio was a nightmare. I thought cardiology was just so difficult. And then I had a class or a block like psychiatry or a block like gastrointestinal, which was something that was easier for me, and so I did a lot better in those exams than my cardiology or my neurology. So that's why you want to make sure that you're studying equally and you make sure you do really well in all of them. But of course, if you don't, then you can make up for them with your other exams. So for my class, for my program, if you do fail the exams, you cannot retake them. And I'll be honest, the lowest I got on the exam was, I think, a 57. And I remember when I saw that grade, I was crying, I was bawling my eyes out. I felt like I was a failure. I kept asking myself, like, why did they choose me to be in the program? This is bad, I have to make up for it. And I was depressed for several days. I remember me and my classmate were walking and we were just waiting for our grades, and then it was always that anxiety that after you took your exam, I kept checking my Blackboard to see what grades I got, and I still do that. Because you're just anxious to see whether you passed or not, or whether you got the grade that you needed to get the grade you wanted. Like for example, I needed a 90 something to get an A or a B in the class, or a C, etc. So it was always that anxiety. And I remember I was walking out with my classmate and I saw my grade and we were talking. I'm like, you know what, I don't think I feel really bad about the exam. I don't think I passed, I don't think I did well. And then of course I checked my exam and it was like a 57 and I felt like a failure. And she was the only person I told. I didn't want to tell anyone else. I didn't want to tell my husband, my family, because I didn't want them to think that I was a failure. And it was really embarrassing for me, and I had to recover for that grade. I had to make sure that I did a lot better on the following exams, or it can put me in getting a C in the class. And if I get a C in the class, then it looks bad, and you can go into financial probation, and then they can take your financial aid away, and definitely you don't want that. So it's really important that you make sure that you do well in all your classes and make sure that you dedicate the appropriate amount of time for every class, and you don't dedicate enough time to one class because you're like, you know what, this class is only worth 1 hour. for this class, I'm dedicating a lot more time to this class because this class is worth 4 hours, because you're gonna fall behind. And that's what I caught myself doing a lot the first semester, is that I focused a lot on this class, and then I wasn't focusing on this class, and then this class I was doing really bad in, and then I just had to catch up. And it was just, you just have to make sure that you're focusing on every class. And then this also comes into play for your clinical exams. So for your clinical exams, for example, I have one exam that is worth 40% of my grade. And for that rotation, you get a grade for that rotation. So for example, for my family rotation, at the end of the rotation, you get a full grade. It's not like during your didactic year where you have the entire semester to get a grade for that class. For your rotations, is like that 1 month, you get that grade for that 1 month for that clinical rotation. And 40% of my grade was my written exam, basically your multiple choice exams. And these questions are hard, guys. I'll be honest, for your end rotation exams, they're hard. My program doesn't write the exam. It's actually the PAEA, so it's the Physician Assistant Board, the national board of the US. They write these exams. All the PA students throughout the nation are taking the same exams as you are for that rotation, and these exams are hard. You can actually go to their website and they'll give you an average. And I know I always get really nervous when I see the average, because some of them, the national average is like a 77, for some of them 78, 76. I think the higher ones for like psychiatry, because psychiatry is a little bit easier and it's a shorter topic list. And so you have to make sure, for example, for these classes, you do really well and you get a good grade, because if you get a C or a D or a 62 or a 61, that's 40% of your grade, and that can put you in danger. And speaking from my experience, my first EOR, which was my ER, I already knew that exam was really hard. I went onto the website and I saw the national average, which was like a 76 or 77, and so that just made me even more nervous. And I had to study completely different of how I studied didactic year during your clinical year, which I'll make another video about that later. And so how I was studying for my didactic year was not working for my clinical year. And so I took the exam and I bombed it. I got a 67. And yeah, I ended up getting a C for that class, for that ER rotation. And I was really upset, because ER is something I want to do. ER is something that's what I want to pursue in or specialize in. And I was also planning on applying to a residency or a fellowship in ER once I graduate from PA school. But I got a C in my ER rotation, my ER class, and that shows on your transcript. And I don't know if that'll look good when I apply to PA schools. Thankfully, after that, I've gotten A's on all of the other rotations, but that was the only one I got a C, and it was my first one. And because I had some family stuff going on, and I think on top of that, I just didn't know how to study for it, and I didn't know how to prepare for it. So make sure that you do well on your exams. And my program, like I said, we weren't allowed to retake the classes, which makes sense, because if you retake the exams, they'll have to change it. And like I said, these exams are through the national physician assistant. It's national, and so they create these exams and the program. But like I said, it depends on your program. Certain programs will let you retake the exam, so that's why it's really important that when you're applying to the program, you make sure and you ask these questions. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you guys have any questions for me, any comments, make sure you comment below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.